Welcome back to Ryan Speed Shop. Today we're gonna take this car on the road for the first time in the last 6 months. We're gonna try to wash it off a little bit. I'm not gonna go through a full wash because it's pretty cold outside, so just gonna knock the dust off and start putting it back together to get it ready to drive. It needs battery for the most part. I know it needs that. It needs maybe some air in the tires and check all the fluid levels, and then we'll be ready to get going. So let's see. So because the battery in the Bug is dead, I don't have a portable charger. I always just charge them off of other cars that are still running. And right now I don't really have that time to charge them. So I'm just gonna ride this battery out of my truck. Mainly because it always has the go handle and it's easy to get to. So let's get these two off. Alright, Bug batteries are always underneath the seat in the factory location. Trying to about right there. Then I put side post terminals on this one. I also put this one in a box. Probably doesn't need it anymore, but batteries are always notorious for leaking and rusting out the floorboard. So I figured if I put it in a box, maybe it won't rust my floorboard out again. Radio's kicking on. That's not good. That's definitely not good. Well, that one's gonna need a vice grip now. Alright, that's tight enough. So I don't know if you can hear that. That's the fuel pump running. Just let it prime and get some go juice in there. Kind of sounds like the frequency changed. So let's see what happens. Get the e-brake set. Of course, nothing. Might still need to be choosing. I don't know if it's all bugs. This one, once it turns over, you can't just hit it again. You gotta go all the way off and then come back on. It's really annoying, especially if you're rolling because the wheel locks. Third time's the charm, maybe. Fourth time. So before I actually pulled the engine out, I wanted to eliminate all possible situations. So I had adjusted the clutch all the way in to where the second you push the clutch pedal, it was releasing, trying to make sure it wasn't something in my clutch. So because of that, I need to readjust it back out. And to do that, there's a lever on the back of the bell housing in this picture that has the cable going through it and a wing nut. So if you loosen that wing nut on the cable, that's what adjusts your clutch pedal. So the looser that wing nut is, the closer to the ground or closer to the floorboard is when your clutch will release. So the tighter the cable, the further up. So like right now with that cable all the way tight, as soon as you touch the clutch pedal, the clutch releases and it's free spinning. So I don't like that. I want it close to the floor, so I'm going to have to loosen that cable up a lot more. And then I'll jump up to the car and show you how I manipulate the car and see where the clutch is going to release and re-engage without having to take it for a drive. Okay, so I'm going to try to demonstrate how I adjust the clutch. So I'll twist the knob a little bit and then I'll lean back on the door jamb 1 foot out of the car, putting pressure while the car is in gear. So I put some pressure on it, then I slowly push the clutch in until the car starts rolling. Right there. And then that still gives me about 2 inches to the floor. And I release it, that's about 5 inches off the ground. So what I've learned from this is I prefer the clutch to be closer to the ground, but as the car warms up, if I adjust it to the floor to about 1 inch and it releases, but once the engine warms up, I guess the clutch disc and everything expands, and once you go in traffic, or like I drive about 30 minutes to work, by the time I get off the highway, you have no clutch anymore because everything is expanded and it won't actually release. So I had to bring it to where it's about 2.5 inches off the floor, and that seems to be about the magic spot where once it warms up, I still get depression in my clutch, but it's still relatively close to the ground. So it's really a preference. You see how much the cable adjustment you have is. So when you put a fresh cable on, it will probably have less, or it'll have a lot more threads left that you can tighten up. And as the cable stretches, you'll have to slowly go back there and tighten it back up. The other thing that would happen is this pedal on inside this tunnel, there's a hook, and that hook is what the cable latches into. Over the time of pressing the clutch in over and over and over again, that hook will start wearing, and that will also create slop, and you'll have to tighten it up. So that's another area you can watch for. And then, but this thing should be ready to go. We just fire her up and probably go get some fresh gas and see if I can't rig this camera up to go for a ride. So there we have it. We got this car back on the road. So always a good feeling to have this car on the road. This was my first car. Me and my dad built it, and it's come a long ways. And I'll probably make another video on like the history of it and what all I've done to it, how I got it, and so on and so forth. So if you like this kind of stuff, just stick around. If you would, like and subscribe, comment on anything you'd like to see, and stay tuned. Thank you.